Welcome to 4.8, Combining Like Terms and Simplifying. We will be putting together everything that we've done this unit. So we'll be working with simplifying expressions, combining like terms, using the distributive property, paying attention to where our negatives are and where our positives are. And I just wanted to get us started with some tips and reminders. So first, as we're working with these more complex expressions, remember your order of operations. We have to work with parentheses first. We don't have any exponents in this case, but then we will be able to do our multiplication and or division. And lastly is when we do any possible addition or subtraction. Secondly, let's remember to recognize a minus sign as a negative and add or subtract accordingly. So what I mean by that is, like you can see right here, we have a -6, but since we will also be multiplying by our -5, we will need to recognize that -6 as a -6. The same could be said for this negative in front of our x term right there. Okay, and lastly, just remember as we start combining terms that the operation, meaning is it plus or is it a minus, in front of a term sticks to that term. So for example, if I had a 2 plus -4, I could rearrange that and write that as -4 plus 2. Both of these will result in an answer of -2. Those are equivalent expressions. But the important piece is that if we rearrange the order, those negatives stick to that number. Okay, let's go ahead and work through an example. I'm going to erase some of this. Okay, just kind of clean it up in here. All right, so following my order of operations, the first thing I want to do here is multiply. And I know I need to multiply because I have a number hanging out outside of a pair of parentheses. And that means distributive properties. That -5 is our multiplier. And it is multiplying -2x minus 6. That means we have -5 groups of -2x minus 6. So let's go ahead and get started with that multiplication. That'll be -5 times a -2x. I'll write that first. So we have -5 times -2x. And then a -5 times a -6. So I'll write plus -5 times -6. And then we can do -6, and, or I'm sorry, not 6, minus x and plus 10. All right, let's go ahead and do that multiplication then. So -5 times -2x. Remember, a negative multiplied by a negative is a positive. So we end up with a positive 10x plus -5 times a -6. So again, we have a negative multiplying a negative. So we're going to have a positive. And -5 times -6 is 30. And then we can bring down our x and bring down our positive 10 and continue combining like terms. So now that all of my multiplication is done, now I can do my addition and subtraction. So I'm going to highlight my like terms. Let's start with this 10. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. So I have to rewrite that. Sorry, keeps switching me to eraser. So that was a 10x. Okay, let's highlight this now and see if I can get this right. All right, we have our 10x and then a negative 10x. Remember, the operation in front sticks with the term. So it's a negative 10x. And we can bring those down together. So I'll say 10x minus x. And then my constants. I have a positive 30 and a positive 10. So those operations stick to those terms. And we can bring those down together. So plus 30, stick to that term, plus 30, plus 10. And now let's combine. If I have 10 x's and I subtract 1, I've got 9 x's. If I've got positive 30 plus 10, that's a positive 40. And I'm done. There's no other math I can do to this. Those are not like terms, so I cannot combine them. So I have a beautiful 9x plus 40.